I'm a little bit like risk averse. I'm like, maybe we don't need dessert tonight. And she's like, we're getting all three. And I'm like, cool. That's good.
Dear Shandy. Welcome back to Dear Shandy, listeners. Hello, Andy.
Hello, Sharleen.
I'm giddy today. We have a very exciting love fest couple today. This one is a special treat for our Canadian listeners, but really for anyone who just likes good people.
Yeah, it's those guys.
You know, we've had friends before in love fests, but I gotta say our Bachelor-related friend here today is one of my absolute favorites from the franchise as a whole. Very good friend of mine. We've hung out many times in various places over the years. She has the title. She was the first and only ever Bachelorette Canada. So she knows a thing or two about dating and relationships. And I also have to mention that if anyone wants to look at gorgeous photos of people in the outdoors, her Instagram is just where it's at.
Oh, incredible.
I know. Well, and she's also the best at it. Like, I've never met someone whose Instagram really represents who they are.
Well, I remember when we visited you in Whistler. It was like every picture, she was so Canadian and sweet about it too. She's like, oh no, just stand over here.
Yeah.
Oh no, move your hand there. Oh yeah, no, put your leg over here. And it's like, okay, she's right. Those are all the right choices.
She's amazing at it. And she really is what she portrays online, which is my favorite thing.
Yes.
Anyway, so at Jasmine.Lorimer, I have to say. Also, she now has a really adorable retro-inspired line of home goods, cute clothes, toques, that she launched with Eric, who's here today. And that's at shop.dream.on. Anyway, I just had to get those out of the way. But now we are joined by the one and only Bachelorette Canada and her boyfriend, who she lives with, Eric. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, guys.
What's up, guys?
I'm so giddy over these two.
Charlene was talking about you a lot today, Jasmine.
I'm so excited about it.
I mean, she's really one of my favorite people from the franchise, period.
Yes, I can vouch for that.
Yes, Auntie.
And me too.
Yeah. Eric, did you just say same?
Zane, one of your favorite.
Yeah.
Top 10.
So top 5.
Okay, fair enough.
So today, you guys, is all about your relationship. Our love fests are really meant to feel like double dates where we talk about the ins and outs of what makes you two work. And we like to go a little bit deeper than just, oh, she's great, it's awesome, it's amazing, that kind of thing. We want to know why you work. And you can just be as specific as you want today because we just love specifics here at Dear Shandy. And so we're going to start nice and easy and just ask how you guys met.
Well, we met on Hinge. So for those of you who don't know,
not sponsored.
Or is it? It's sponsored now.
Yeah. We met on Hinge, and for those listeners who don't know, it's kind of like more in-depth the online dating platform, I would say, where it showcases a little bit of your personality. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's still a little surface level, but...
Wait, do people date for personality on online dating sites now?
On Hinge, you have to like something you can like a photo, but you can also just like something they said, and there's all these prompts that encourage you to share a little bit more. So anyways, we met on Hinge, and that's the long and short of it.
You basically create like a landing page, and then there's like calls to action in the form of a question that your potential suitor would answer. So like what our first date would look like, or like something that you're scared of, or a phobia or something. And then
so far this is sounding pretty sponsored.
It really is. Yeah, we got to back off. Let's talk about another dating site to even it out.
Okay, so you meet on Hinge. What are your first impressions of each other? You see the face, you see the profile. What is it about each other?
I thought that Eric looked cute and Italian. and at the time I had just got back. I just got back from Europe, and I was in Naples as my last stop, and I was alone, and I was like, I think I'm going to date an Italian guy. And so when I was sifting through Hinge, I actually that was standing out to me in my mind as like, not a criteria, but just something that I was finding myself attracted to. And so when I saw him, I was like, oh, he looks cute. And that was kind of it. I didn't know what his personality would be like. But as soon as we started talking, like we couldn't stop talking. At first, he gave me this biography of his life that it was so long. And as I was reading it, I was like, what the heck? He's like, he grew up in South Africa and he was shoved in a locker as a child and bullied a lot, but his parents really pushed him to be better. I was like, whoa, this guy. And then it was like, he was just giving me Elon Musk's whole life story.
I was listening to this podcast. I was really into this podcast at the time. And that's the whole premise of the podcast. It's like this really famous public figure, and you kind of start from where they began, and it never tells you what the name of that person is until like the very last sentence of the podcast. So it'll be like, and even though you were pushed in lockers, you always knew you'd excel at computer science. And then like the very last sentence is, and you are Elon. And so the end sentence was like, I am Elon. And then I was like, and then I laughed, but it had been days since he had sent the message. It was like, it was a curveball. I was really like, all right, this girl is obviously super attractive. She gets like every comment in the book. So I was like, I'm just gonna shoot my shot as if I was like, it's like a half court shot for me. And I was like, and if I win, then I win the halftime show and I get to keep the car, you know? So I was like, oh yeah, I'm going for it. And then,
I appreciate that. I like it when
I like that
guys
too.
do that. Instead of a sup.
Sup.
This is superior to sup.
It is.
Good job, Eric.
Most definitely.
Yeah. And it was funny because anyway, I had ignored him for days. And so he thought that I must have thought he was weird. And then when I saw it, I laughed. And I was like, oh my God, sorry. I had my notifications off. And then from then on, we started texting. And honestly, I can't even explain to you how much it felt like we clicked, even though we hadn't met yet. Like our texts, I would be like belly laughing at our text messages together. And I was like, man, if I don't get along with this guy when I meet him, I am going to be heartbroken, even though I have not met him yet, because we just couldn't. The banter was so good. We'd text all day long, all the time. I would keep him from doing work for about a week, and then we met, and then that was it.
Yes.
Yeah,
so this was all via text. You never heard each other's voices.
No,
not.
Oh, you never.
Wow.
You never. Was that a decision, or was that just happened that way?
No, that was just how it went. I don't know. Like,
were you scared to you wanted to meet in person? Like you were scared to hear each other's voices almost? Because I could kind of understand where you were. I've been kind of in that place before. I've actually been in situations where I texted for a while with a girl that I thought was amazing for like weeks. And then I met her and I was like, oh crap. Like she's no personality. The texts were like, she's great on text, but terrible in life. But anyway, so were you guys like almost scared to hear each other's voices? Like you just wanted to go all out and just see each other in person?
Yeah, like it wasn't like whether I would like the sound of his voice, but just did he have like, was he just really good at communicating with text, like you said?
Exactly, yeah.
That was a fear, and that's why I wanted to meet him like right away.
Yep.
And I was so nervous of being disappointed, just like, this guy can't be real.
And it's hard not to sort of get away with yourself, like have your expectations be really high based on getting belly laughs from text exchanges.
Totally.
Yes.
It's pretty rare.
And at the time, that's something that I wanted so much. Like I was really wanting to prioritize being with someone who made me laugh and could like poke fun at me, and I don't know who I had the similar sense of humor to and all that kind of stuff, and who felt like my best friend. And so when all of this was happening via text, I was like, this means more to me right now than probably any other time in my life, because I had been lacking that in previous relationships for a while.
Yes.
Yeah.
I am aware. So Eric, I want to hear your perspective, your first impression of Jasmine. I have to ask if you recognized her. Like, I just want to know everything from your side.
I was like, she's a mega babe. And we had started having this really cool conversation where we were kind of making each other laugh. And we kind of just got along on like every level. We were like talking about like boy bands and much music big shiny tunes, which I don't know.
Canada.
Yeah, it's a Canada thing. But so we got along. Like we were just like finishing each other's text messages, and it was one of those things where I would be in the kitchen just like texting for like just standing in one spot, and my roommate at that time would come in. He'd be like, "Are you something wrong?" Like I wasn't cooking. Nothing was going on. I was just in the kitchen, like standing like perpendicular to the fridge and just being like.
That's pretty cute.
And so, but I had no idea because I don't regularly watch the show, and I didn't really know. And I didn't want to like creep her on Instagram because I was like, I don't want to like jinx myself or something. I'm like, we're on a roll, and like
I didn't want to give him my Instagram either. We had the discussion where I was like, I think he was like, do we give each other our Instagrams? He was like, I haven't posted since like 2015. And I was like, well, no, not. And then we didn't for quite a while.
Really?
Even after, I don't think I gave him, not that that's like a thing, like, oh, you must have my Instagram. But I don't think that he saw my Instagram. Like that.
That's so wonderful. It reminds me of the John Lennon song. Like there should be an extra lyric. Like imagine there was no Instagram.
Yeah.
I like that you guys waited for that. I mean, I feel like most people do that before phone numbers now.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
For me, I just didn't want to. I feel like I put so much of myself out there that I didn't want him to feel like he knew me already, and then he wouldn't have to get to know me because I basically just like barf my life out onto the internet, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The part about dating is getting to know.
And this is one of the reasons why I love you, is because I think a lot of people would be like, well, and especially if their Instagram is sort of a big part of their life, they'd be like, well, here's my Instagram. It's sort of like their card, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I just love that about you. It's like, let's make it as pure as humanly possible in today's age.
Yeah. There's so much pushing of this image that everyone's trying to project that you know, be careful what you wish for. Like you may actually create a persona that people don't recognize from who you actually are.
Yeah.
And totally. I find it so much better. Like I don't even like when I used to go on dates, I didn't even like to talk about what I did. Like I was like, I don't want you to know anything about what I do. I'm just going to give you who I am, and you make a decision based on that. So I applaud you. Mm-hmm. Well done, Jasmine.
That takes strength.
And Eric. It was a team effort.
Okay. I mean, I have to ask, at what point did it come up that...
Yeah.
I have to ask.
Yes,
I'm just curious.
Of course, we need the answer.
Yeah, if you start dating someone who was the Bachelorette, you know, has a pretty big online presence, and
the only Bachelorette,
and gets recognized to this day. Like, I want to know when and how it came up. I'm just curious.
So leading up to the date, I was like, I'm holding off on trying to find her on Instagram. Honestly, it would have been so easy to just punch in her name. Like Jasmine would come up immediately. So I was like, okay, I'm going on a date with this girl this weekend. And I was talking to my colleague, and I'm like, just look her up on Instagram, but don't tell me anything. And then he like looked her up, and he's like, she's got a blue check. And I was like, I'd been working in media, like social media. So I knew what like that meant, but I was like, okay, well, maybe like, I don't know. You know, I didn't put anything. He didn't say anything. I just left it at that. And then when we went on the date, she was like, yeah, I was a part of the Bachelorette Canada. And I just didn't know how the show worked. So I was like, cool. What was it like competing with those girls? I was like, oh, okay.
So you're just piecing it together bit by bit.
Yeah. I would have done the same thing.
No, you get on your high horse. You would have Googled her right when she said not to.
Oh, totally. Yeah, I would have Googled her. Before she even got to her last name, I would have been Googling her.
Well, Sharleen, to find out about her opera.
Oh, I mean, I wish it were opera. After the night we met, when we parted ways, I was like, let's do this fun thing where we don't Google each other. Oh. And he was like, yeah, I like that.
Yeah. Like,
and then he promptly goes home and Googles me.
After you tell someone not to Google you.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
A knight
only
like Eric.
He's the only person in the world.
Totally. I agree with you, Ed. That's just asking for someone to Google.
Yeah, she asked for trouble.
You're just trying to dodge a bullet there. I didn't know what to do.
I'm someone who Googles people all the time, regardless of what they say. And then you say, don't Google me? What am I supposed to do?
I messed up.
She never like explicitly told me not to search for her. Right?
No, I don't know what I said exactly, but whatever. I want to say though, on the date, I didn't just come out and say I was a Bachelorette Canada. We were talking. I think he asked me what I do for a living, and then it progressed into, which I get this question a lot because I wouldn't just come right out and be like, I was the Bachelorette. But when people are like, how did you start doing social media stuff? I don't want to say, oh, I worked my butt off to build this audience. Right. It kind of happened. And so I can't give myself the credit. I have to give the show the credit. And so then that's usually when that comes up, which is how that happened.
I'm just going to be Jasmine's friend, though, here for a second, because you do say that and you downplay that. But in terms of having followings based on having appeared on TV, you already had a following. I'm just saying, because she is so good at it, and it is so her and her voice. I just have to put that out there. Don't be all modest about it. It's
if
just
anyone wants for this to be backed up, just go to Jasmine's Instagram. I challenge you.
I challenge you to not.
Don't go to Jasmine's Instagram.
I want to be her when I grow up, when I look at her Instagram and talk to her. Okay, so you go on the date. What are your first impressions in person? I assume they lived up, but how?
I remember just thinking, oh, he's really cute. And then honestly, I wish I could share more about the actual date. I remember just feeling kind of nervous. We went for cocktails at this really nice place in Vancouver. I remember he ordered a penicillin.
What's a penicillin?
It's
a scotch and gingery cocktail.
It's like scotch forward with some ginger or something. I don't know. I remember that.
That's the gingers to make sickness better. That's why it's called penicillin. Because nothing cures sickness like scotch and a little bit of ginger.
The medicine. Yeah,
of course. Straight up medicine.
Yeah.
Okay, so he orders a cocktail called penicillin.
Yeah, I mean, that really had nothing to do with the story, but I just remember that. But we had really good conversation. My first impression was, okay, this is living up to all of it so far. And then we went and did some virtual golf, and
to this. Yeah, I mean,
your first impression.
My very first impression was I was walking down I was walking in the opposite direction of her. And then
I was getting out of the car.
And then she tapped on my shoulder, and I turned around, and I was like, so that was my very first impression. And I was like,
that exact expression he gave it to us.
Yeah.
I want first impressions, you sit down and start talking 5 minutes in.
Mm-hmm.
I thought she was it was just as easy to talk to her as it was to text message with her, which was
oh, nice.
A relief because, within
Big
some
time.
text conversations, they can be very not formulaic, but
prepared.
Almost premeditated. Yeah.
Time to edit, I guess.
Yeah. But even then, when we were in the throes of our text romance pre-first date, it was it was like the bubbles, when you're texting somebody.
Just nonstop bubbles.
The text bubbles.
Yeah.
So it was pretty immediate. And I don't know, we just checked all the boxes that I thought were in my head. And then it was fun that she was cool with going golfing, and
golfing.
Virtual golfing.
But they give you a full set, and it's a whole virtual thing.
That's pretty cool.
I think that sounds like
so you
such
do
a cute
full
first
course,
date
a
idea.
golf course with the VR set?
Championship course, and then it's all
wow,
it's heat pad, so it measures how far you hit it and stuff.
That's so cool. Are you holding a club, or are you just holding nothing? You're just
no, you're holding a really nice set of clubs.
Really?
I want to know whose idea it was to play virtual golf.
Me too.
It was mine.
Yeah, he spent the whole evening.
Eric, that is some good first date game.
Solid.
I know.
Yeah. Almost disconcertingly good.
You really like some virtual golf.
I think that's just such a cute
I know
first
what you're
date
getting
idea.
for your birthday.
Yeah.
Very cute.
He's
Okay.
Through planning cute date ideas. He used to have a spreadsheet called the Cutie Date Idea Google Doc. But I don't know if that's real or not. He told me he had the spreadsheet.
I should have turned it into an app. Maybe I still can.
Maybe still can.
Oh my God, you should. And you should do it before this episode airs so no one takes that idea.
Yeah. He would always write, anytime that it would come into our head, oh, there's something we should do, make jam or whatever. He would add it to the cutie date list. That was
That is so cute.
This is extremely cute.
Okay, so first impressions then versus now. Because you've been together now for almost 2 years, correct?
Mm-hmm.
In November, it'll be 2 years?
Yeah, it's so crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy.
Pandemic. It's just like a day.
I know. Isn't it weird?
Yeah. It's really weird.
November 2019, you met. Now we're at almost 2 years. What would you say, like, what has been unexpected versus that first meet or that first week where you were texting, and just what you thought then versus now?
That's a really hard question to answer because I feel like he has remained such a solid person and he's still so thoughtful and he's still so affectionate and all of the things that I would be afraid of dissipating over time. Like I've had a kind of a chronic fear of long-term relationships or not even that I'm afraid of the relationship lasting long. It's that I'm afraid of what happens when a relationship lasts long or what goes away. And so it's really nice being with Eric because I realize that doesn't have to happen. And he's just so lovely and amazing. Like and he's the most supportive person. So I just feel like I learn more things about him all the time that I love.
Just more good stuff.
Yeah,
it's like Chris Rock talks about the representative you date for the first 6 months. So you actually, the representative was the actual person.
Yeah.
Which is rare.
It is.
You usually get a lot of extra baggage that you didn't buy.
I'm sure
after the first 6 months, after the first year, for sure.
Yeah, no, with Eric, it's not even like he's so calm. Like there's not even, oh my God, I know that he has probably a different experience because I definitely feel like there's more, like, I don't know. I don't feel like he's so emotionally just like level and I'm like, rah, sometimes. So.
Yeah, but you're like Canadian. Rah. It's different than American. Rah.
Well, we're going to get to that.
Yeah.
Eric, then, how about you? How do you feel almost 2 years in? What's different, if anything?
I still feel like we're in like month one, sort of, you know, like it's, which is seriously wild to me because I have never seen anybody more in my life in the last 2 years of a pandemic. That like I'm not joking. Like, so you would think that it would be like you'd almost like snooze through the day, but we still find ways to like laugh and find things to do, and we still kind of like hold a sacred place for getting out of the house and actually like reconnecting, which is really hard because my office and Jasmine's office is here. Like, I mean, albeit like if she has to go and do a shoot or something, but I think that's another thing too, is that a lot of people don't really see the back end administrative work that goes into Jasmine's job. So like, we're both just like in computer zone until like 5 p.m. Like I might come out for snacks. And then, so it's just kind of like shutting that off and being like, let's drink some wine and watch a lot of TV. We watched a lot of Sopranos. So and every other TV.
There's a lot to watch.
Yeah. So we see, it's true. We have seen each other a whole lot and we still really love hanging out with each other. Like he's like my first choice for a buddy.
It's such a funny realization. Like I was with you one Saturday, like a few weeks ago, and I was just like, God, we hang out so much. And it wasn't, I said it endearingly. I was like, I can't believe how much we hang out.
Yeah.
And I'm still having fun with you. It's just weird. That's when you know you've found your person.
Yeah. It's proven to be like the best like litmus test ever because it just feels so natural and
that's great.
I just have to mention that he just said litmus test, which you said in a recent episode.
We had a long discussion of litmus test in our last Q&A. Just so you know.
Yeah, that I just feel like that's a
yes.
I mean,
that alone,
we knew we liked you.
I give him to you, Jasmine.
You're like giving her away.
I'm giving you away.
Which is kind of.
I wasn't asked permission though. I don't remember Eric asking you. That's okay though. I'm not a traditionalist.
And it's kind of funny because Andy actually has been someone in my life. I told Eric this, who has given me relationship advice, or mostly like very blunt and honest, not even advice, just like reality checks about some situations in other relationships, which I always appreciated.
Did you?
Yes, of course. Oh my God, I still remember this one time. Okay,
Weren't we together in Victoria? Are you talking about that time?
Yes, we were.
Okay.
And we called Andy because I was like, I'm dating this guy, and he got high on MDMA and made out with this girl on New Year's Eve. What should I do? And he's like, dump him. And I was like, you're like, you have to dump him, idiot. Like, what? They call me an idiot, but
I may have. I don't remember.
I just remember, obviously that was the correct answer, but like, how people, I don't know. It was like, I was like, maybe I did something like.
Yeah, what I like about Andy and his advice giving is there is a real black and whiteness to it that you don't always get. And I feel like sometimes certain friends are too close to matter. Like I remember you telling me about it and I'd be like, well, that doesn't sound like a good thing to do. Well, like you just sort of like want to massage it. You don't want to be like, dump him. Well, and then Andy gets on the phone and he plays that role with gusto.
The thing is this, it's like if there, from an outside perspective, like clear relationship issues are very obvious. Like when you're in it, you have no idea. You're like completely rudderless. But like as a good friend, I get it if someone has like bad breath or something. It's okay you don't tell them. That's a very awkward conversation. It's not the end of the world. But if someone's in a bad relationship, it's your duty as a friend to tell them because you're like half murdering them by condoning a relationship that you yourself know is going to lead to their demise. So I feel very strongly that if you see a duck, call it a duck, because otherwise someone could get stuck with this person for the rest of their life and be miserable.
That's true.
Yeah, and bad breath, you just brush your teeth more. Not that that's the correlation, but that's the example that came to my mind.
That's so true.
Okay, I want to know now how you guys would say you compliment each other.
I have a pretty good response to this. I don't know if you want to go first.
Sure, I'll go first.
Okay.
I think Jasmine is a lot more like spontaneous than me, and like I would be happy as a clam to just sit at home and like cuddle up and just kind of like watch movies or play games and then go to bed at like 9 p.m. every night. Like if you let me become an old man, I am one 10 years ago.
Okay.
So,
that's so sweet. I mean, I love being an old man now and when I was not an old man.
Yeah. And with Jasmine, we're always just like up to something, and it's always kind of like spontaneous, and there's always just like random. It's a lot of like, let's like enrich our lives with these experiences where I'd be like, I'm a little bit like risk averse. I'm like, maybe we don't need dessert tonight. And she's like, we're getting all three. And I'm like, cool. That's good. And yeah.
I do love that about you, Jasmine. There's a real sense of living life to the fullest.
Yeah.
And she's like, and there's not much that like scares her. Like, I don't think I'm going to talk her into like jumping out of a plane anytime soon. But like, if there's like deep fried slug on the menu, she'd be like, we should order that. And then like,
you only live once.
I think you should stick with the desserts. Stick with that one. Yeah.
And I would say, if I were to answer that question, I think that in a similar way, like not necessarily to do with adventures, and I think that he's more adventurous than he's letting on because he's the one who always plans all our fun times. But I think in our careers and things like that, Eric, he's a planner. Like he's pushed me to do so many things that I would have just put off forever and ever. And so he's a really good support for me that way. And I feel inspired by him a lot in the way that he tackles situations. Also, he is like, I feel like I can be a little feisty. Like I feel like I can be a little sassy. We have a neighbor downstairs who complains about us walking every day. And I want to text her and be like, you need to stop. And Eric's like, we just got to handle this in a really polite and professional kind of way. And so he'll just be so sweet and be like, sorry about the footsteps. We'll try to keep it down. Meanwhile, I'm like, ooh. So I think that he balances me out in that way too, where he's like a little more calm and level-headed and just nicer, maybe.
Wait a minute.
It's impossible
Eric
to be
is nicer than you?
Yeah, that's impossible.
Yes.
Okay. Then he should run for Prime Minister of Canada.
He's
I mean, you're literally the nicest person
in
I've
the
ever
world.
met.
Yeah, it's incredibly nice.
Okay, and you always say that, but I feel like maybe it is a Canadian.
I mean, you're super Canadian,
Well,
but
he's
within Canadian, you are nicer than any other Canadian I've met.
He's met his share of Canadians by now, and he does not say this about everyone.
Canadians.
You just are really that nice. It's a wonderful thing.
You are unbelievably nice. So if you're saying that Eric is nicer than you, he may be in like world-class nice territory.
I think I handle conflict a little bit.
Okay, that's
with like a little bit more like, I don't want to say strategy, but like I don't let people get it. I don't want to
let people get under your skin.
Not really under my skin, but I just think like when Jasmine feels like slighted or when she feels offended by something, she's really quick to like stand up for herself and be like, no, that's like not the case, and I won't accept it. Which I think is super honorable, and that is like the yin to my yang, because sometimes I'm like, we don't need to like spend our energy on this situation. Like it won't affect us. It's not changing our life. Like, let's move on. Mm-hmm. Sometimes she's like, no, we have to stick up for ourselves here. We're not just going to get walked on. And I think that is like so incredible. And it shows up in her work. Like I've seen her like, like go back and forth with business opportunities and really stand her ground and like just fight for what she knows she's worth. Mm-hmm. And I think that's like an incredible
trait,
incredible quality to have, especially given the fact that there's so many opportunities for that to be like, well, I think that this is what this opportunity is worth. And she's like, well, actually, like, let me show you what it is worth. And I'll leave that right here for you. And
I do love that about her. It's interesting. Those are, I like what you're saying. And it actually reminds me a bit of our dynamic too, because Jasmine, I know what you mean. There's this sense of like, you're nice and nice and nice until you feel like you're being taken advantage of. And then you're like, okay, I'm not going to be nice anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, like with you, I like very rarely, usually you let me deal with the dirty work.
Yeah.
But once in a while.
Oh, once in a while.
She blows. And it's pretty intense.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's, you don't want to be on the
My friend, one of my really close friends actually was totally out of line one night and you lit him up. It was unbelievable.
Yeah. Out in front of everyone on the street.
Oh, yeah. We had to go home. Like I was
left.
like, okay, we're going home now.
After I gave him a very loud and angry piece of my mind. Yeah.
But I feel like one time when we were together, you did call someone on something. Do you remember? Maybe it was it in Whistler? I remember there was one time, maybe at a restaurant or something.
I don't know.
I don't remember.
But it was so out of character. I was just like, whoa.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like you went nuts. You were just like, that's not the way it's going to be.
I love that about you. I honestly think this is one of the reasons why we're friends, honestly.
Yeah.
Because you're not a doormat.
No.
Totally.
No.
At all.
Yeah, I feel that Sharleen, you and I are really similar in that way. Like I have called people out in public. Like even people that I'm friends with, I can't, if it's something that I feel passionately about, like if someone's saying something that's offensive to someone, or which this happened, like I will call
You're
them
that
out.
person.
Doing it, and I'm like, you need to be embarrassed right now. So
and then very similar.
And then I end up feeling a little guilty afterwards. Like I'm like, but I don't want to feel like that, because I feel like it's okay to stand up for what you feel is right. Like if you're not being just a huge crotch for no reason, so that's my logic, but I don't know.
No, I know what you mean. It almost feels like it comes from within you and you don't have control. And then afterwards you're like, you're not necessarily that apologetic, but you're like, what just happened?
I know.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
I know that this is supposed to be a love fest for Eric and I, but it's a little bit of a love fest for sure.
Totally is.
Yeah, we could just leave if you guys want.
Oh, it totally is. Okay, those are super cute answers. I love the way you compliment each other. Now what I want to know is if those were traits you were specifically looking for when dating.
I would say yes, actually.
Oh.
I think so. I mean, yes. And even traits that I didn't know that I needed, like having him balance me out when things get under my skin that shouldn't, and like that, Sharleen, like that can take over. I'm saying Sharleen and not Andy because I feel like Andy isn't like this, but you know how it can just kind of take over your.
Yes, and and you begin obsessing. It ruins your day.
Yeah, that I feel like he takes me out of that if I'm ever in that space, which is huge for my mental health. And I would say, I mean, personally, I feel like, yes, the things that he has are qualities that I have been looking for and didn't even know I was looking for some of them.
Can you give an example of something you didn't know you were looking for that he possesses?
I think the part about the balancing me out emotionally, like having that support there and that like solid person who's never going to break. Like, I feel like there are times where I can be like completely neurotic and stressed out. Like today we were trying to leave the house and I was like, where are the keys? Oh, you never hang up the keys. And he's like, you're the one who put the keys there yesterday. And he'll just like make fun of me rather than get annoyed at me for being insane. Mm-hmm. And so it makes me not be as insane.
That is so important. I genuinely believe that, to be able to diffuse like a moment of just like snappiness, unnecessary snappiness with humor.
Yeah. It's so
totally.
valuable to me too. Like,
I honestly think, and this is a big statement to make, I think that's one of the top 5 reasons why our marriage works.
Yeah. She's been like bleeding mad at me before, and I've made a totally inappropriate joke about why she's mad, and it doesn't always work. Don't take this isn't bulletproof by any stretch. Sometimes it's backfired, but it often works.
Yeah, I just can't help it. I just start laughing. I think the joke is so funny, and it is also important, to be able to laugh at yourself.
Yeah. And you do the same to me. I mean, I've gotten absolutely out of control like a 2-year-old, and you've said something just totally mocking me.
Yeah.
It's really a good move to mock someone when they're really angry at you. Always great call.
Oh, you avoid it.
But seriously, if you have a really, really, really solid relationship, I think it is often a decent strategy.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, Eric, your turn.
And just 1 second, Eric. But if you ever see her getting really angry, like very nasty and angry, I want you to take a hidden video. I want to see what that looks like. This would be like watching like a snow leopard on National Geographic. Like, I can't even imagine what an angry Jasmine looks like.
Yeah.
So Sharleen would appreciate it too.
Yeah.
But sorry, go ahead. Ask the question again.
So Eric, your turn. Were you specifically looking for the traits that Jasmine possesses? And then if there was something that, you weren't looking for, what would you say that was?
No, there was like, I didn't really think about it like that when I was looking, when I like met Jazz. Like, I wasn't like, I didn't have like a box of checklists. I was like, good conversation, funny person, fun to be around, like adventurous, and like wants to do the things that I want to do. And those that were all checked off. And then like all the other things that came with it, just like, she's got like an entrepreneurial spirit. She's very like go-getter, and if she wants to do something, she'll stay up all night and do it. Whereas I'll be like, I like this idea. I'm going to write a note about it and I'm going to execute on it 6 months from now.
That's funny because she just said that about you. That's interesting that you see that in each other.
Yeah, I think I don't know. That's weird that you see me as a go-getter, because I feel like that is not. I literally wrote a freaking Instagram caption. I wish I was a go-getter.
True go-getters don't believe they're go-getters.
Is that true?
I'm just making that up, but I think it's true. It sounds good.
No, I actually think there's some truth in that. One of the reasons why a go-getter is a go-getter is because they feel like they're lazy.
Yes. Anyone who's really, 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 truly great at anything, I believe they themselves do not think they're good at it. But otherwise, they would not be driven to continue to improve.
Yeah, there's no complacency.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Good theory.
Whereas someone who's terrible at something but has a false sense of confidence, might be like, oh, I'm good. I got this. And they're terrible. And they never get better than terrible. But they're so confident they sell terrible to the point where they might even make a living doing that.
That's true.
I don't want to give
a lot
examples.
of people do that.
Yeah.
I almost admire it.
I admire it. I hate it and admire it.
Yeah, I admire the gumption.
Exactly.
Same.
Yeah.
I'm jealous of that level of completely ignorant confidence.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
Sorry, Eric.
Go ahead.
So it sounds like what you were looking more of this sort of like gut-driven way. You were like, oh, I'll just know it when I see it.
It was definitely gut-driven. And then these like things that I found about Jasmine that like complemented the things for me. I was like, yes, I like need that stuff. Like I need to not put something off because I just don't want to do it now. Just like get it out of the way if it's a really easy, simple, dirty thing. Like, and somebody to keep me accountable for doing those little menial tasks.
Mm-hmm.
So that was like really refreshing. And she's also just very creative and like she has like an aesthetic and like just like fun to be around her and like a richness and like extracting enjoyment out of small moments, not like big elaborate schemes, but like going back to being like, we're going to try all the desserts. Like I never knew that was something that I would like value so much until like you're in those little moments and it's just like, you're like profiting from every single moment.
Yeah.
Not every single bite of the dessert, but just like,
the experience. That is such a lovely answer.
Yes.
I feel like he never said that to me before because he always makes fun of me for eating every single variety of every single option that ever existed.
I want to say also, I don't just mean like when we go out to eat. It's not just that. It's like I feel like I'll probably like experience something that I wouldn't have thought of in my head just from like doing it with Jazz, which is, like, so.
No, I completely know what you mean regarding Jasmine because I feel like living with her is probably just like living in a Disney movie or something.
That's
like,
what I picture it as.
Yeah, because you're so right. Like I love this. She appreciates these little moments, and she had the aesthetic thing is so real. Like I just feel like you surround yourself. It's just like this aura. It's really magical. And I remember going on a hike with you, and I felt like I was watching your Instagram come to life, and that was the moment I was like, you are that person. This isn't, you didn't go to the forest to do a shoot.
No.
You were in the forest because that's where you want to live and be and spend your time. And the photo just was taken while you were there. It was just a thing that happened.
Go to Jasmine Lorimer's Instagram. The anti-trashy Instagram.
It's so
the
true.
Classiest Instagram.
It's the anti-influencer influence.
It's amazing. It's an amazing Instagram.
Yeah,
I applaud you.
But I really love that you see that in her because I've always felt that way about her. And it's just, and I feel like your apartment is a representation of that and your personal style and just even the way you handle situations. I just think that was such a lovely answer.
You know what her Instagram is like? It's like, when you're on like HBO Max and you don't watch for like 20 minutes, but you're dealing with a text conversation and it goes to the screensaver. And it's these unbelievably beautiful, high def, like saturated nature scenes.
Yeah.
Her Instagram is basically that, but Jasmine's standing in the middle of that.
True. It's very true. Great.
I know exactly. First of all, it's funny that you say that, but also I was recently thinking about those images that come up on the screen. Are you talking about like they float by in different?
Yeah, it's like it becomes the screensaver. You haven't been watching for long enough. It's like, okay, we got to screen save your TV, and it starts like these beautiful nature images.
Yeah. But I was just thinking about those images the other day because I was like, how long have these been on here? It's been many years since these have been changed.
Oh, you mean the same pictures?
I love that she's focusing on how they haven't been updated.
You're not focusing on the right thing here. You're taking this in a weird direction. Stop it. I'm trying to compliment your Instagram, not diss HBO's level of screensaver refreshing.
Oh my God, we're all loopy. It's amazing. Yeah. Okay. Next question about your relationship. Eric, by the way, I just loved that answer. I loved that. Just seeing the value of like small moments and making them special. It's just great. Okay.
By the way, I think it's actually Apple TV screensaver. It's Apple TV.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you for
glad
clarifying.
we cleared that up. Yeah. I don't want to give HBO the credit or disparage them regarding their screensavers.
Regarding their 10-year-old screensavers.
Yeah.
HBO Max is like 1-year-old.
Yeah, it's very new. It's very hard for them to have 10-year-old screensaver.
Okay, next question. Yeah. What would you say is different about this partnership versus past ones that make this one work?
For me, it has a lot to do. I mean, there are so many things that I could go on forever about that. But one of the main things is one of the first things that I noticed, which was that like sense of humor and feeling of like, okay, actually, Sharleen, this is so funny because when we first met, and we went on our little friend date and we hung out and closed down every single bar and restaurant in the whole entire city because we couldn't stop talking to each other.
Yeah.
You talked to me about this and you described it as a callback.
Yeah. The ability to call back, it's magical.
Yes, and maybe you can explain that, because what it ended up being, like what I feel that I really wanted, and I told you that night, was that I wanted to have that sort of like feeling where I could, like, we have inside jokes and like that we can reference things and he gets what I'm saying, like we just get each other. Yeah. And I remember trying to explain that to you, and you were like, yeah, it's like you need that callback. And I was like, yes, like, yes, this is exactly what I need. And so you can explain that maybe better than I can, but that's one thing that's major.
I mean, I know exactly what you mean. It's like every day you spend together, you're just building your inventory of things that can be referenced back to at the right moment in humorous ways.
Yeah. As opposed to relationships where you're building inventory of things that you're going to remember to yell at the person about, which is a different kind of inventory.
Yeah, or resentments, general just
like, oh, you left your underwear on the floor. Okay, I'll remember that for a few months from now.
Yeah. First of all, I do think there's like an intelligence factor in that and just like a quickness in like accessing that. But with the right person, it's so effortless because little things they do remind you of things they did 4 months ago that it just like ties back together. And I know what you mean. It's like you want to make sure that when you throw that ball, like you make that callback reference, that they catch the ball. Yeah. It's not like, what are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. I don't remember that.
Yeah. Well, your relationship becomes a story that you two have written. It's not like each one has a story and they're separate. Yeah,
you're continuing to write it together. It's so true. Oh, I love that you remember that. That's such a good...
because it was huge for me. And so when you asked that question, like I actually forgot about that, but I remember thinking about it recently, about that word. And when you're asking, you know, what is the thing that you feel is different from other relationships, I would say in a general sense, it's that feeling of being with that person who's going to catch that ball when you throw it. And it kind of like encompasses a lot of different areas of our relationship, but it's so important. Like I knew that I could not be in a relationship without it. And I was just starting to like come to this conclusion that I just had to not have it. And I was like, ugh. And then, so.
It's almost like a language you speak or like a dialect of the language.
Yes.
It's not a full language, but there's certain things that it's like a whole, you know what it is? It's a vocabulary.
Yeah, that no one else can tap into. It's yours.
For Jasmine and I, it is like a language now.
Oh, like, yeah, we also have languages.
Like
pretty much.
In the last couple of years, like, and just probably as a result of the pandemic, like, yeah, we have all those like throwback nuance, like jokes and memories and things that like make each other laugh. Then we actually have a language.
Well, more of
it's nice. It's an accent that like blends itself into a language because people would be like, I have no idea what those words mean.
True, yeah.
And it's like, and we did it for so long because of that pandemic that like I like caught myself talking that language to Jasmine's niece or niece. And like I like sometimes catch myself like answering my mother that way, and I'm like, nice. Oh my god, like, the language. Now I'm like, if we ever have kids, they're gonna like the first words are gonna be like that weird accented language because they're gonna be like.
That's so funny because like when you spend too much time with someone, like I call Sharleen baby. We call each other baby. Yeah. That's the thing. I haven't called Sharleen by her name more than 3 times in the last 6 months, and it's usually because I'm really pissed at her or she's in a huge crowd and I'm like Sharleen. So it's not a thing I call her. It's weird when I call her by her name. But there have been times when I've been on the phone with like my mother and I'm distracted and I'm like looking at something and then I'm like, sorry, baby, I didn't hear you. And I'm like, oh, fuck, damn it. I just called my mother baby. But that brings me to my next point. Baby talk. I predict heavy baby talk in this relationship. I call it right now. There's baby talk. Don't deny it.
I'm trying to think.
There's baby talk. I know there is. Yeah, it's heavy.
It is more like we watched Sopranos for so long and you know how long that series is? That now we have this Italian accent that I'm not going to do.
Is it Italian baby talk or just Italian?
Actually, yes, it kind of is.
We have a similar language. We won't go into detail, but we know what you mean. And it gets weird. Like, I actually responded to my sister with our weird accent once, and she was like, I literally don't know what you just said.
Can you give me an example?
No, we can't, unfortunately.
Well, I actually think the whole like language thing, like just having this weird, all the weird isms that you share with each other, a huge part of it is also catching the ball in that sense. Like, instead of being like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
It's like doubling down.
Yeah, it's true.
So, Eric, I want you to finish your answer because you were talking about the language. What is different about this versus your past relationships? Or would you say that is your answer?
I think what is different for both of us is that...
For you.
Oh, for me. Well, for me, but you kind of resonate with this too, is that we just approach this relationship with an openness. Like, we're not like perfect human beings. So we're like if I'm making this situation worse, let me know. And I'll try and like mentally undo those bricks so that we can like handle situations better and like learn each other better. And not like just not be defensive the whole time and be like, it's your fault. It's your fault. If anything comes up, it's more being like, whoa, I'm probably not seeing something right now. And I don't know if I certainly know that I wasn't doing that in my previous relationships. So I think coming into this relationship, I was just like open to the fact that like there's probably, I got to do a lot of work on things and just be open and like, if I knew that this is the last relationship that I want to be in. So what, like, I have to just make all the adjustments that I got to make. And I think
which is like nothing, by the way, but it's, he does do that where he'll like, if there's a problem, it's like, what can I do to make this better? What can I do to help this situation? Like, he's very proactive. And that's awesome. And I didn't know that he wasn't like that in other relationships. I never would have known he wasn't like that because he's so good at it. Like,
isn't it interesting how just being with someone else can unlock that?
Well, it's because you want to, it's like the queen bee thing. It's like you must protect the relationship at all costs.
We always talk about the relationship being like the queen bee. You must protect it at all costs.
Die for it.
Like the little things, your pride or your ego or
just
your instinct to be defensive is all secondary. Like the queen bee matters. What can I do to fix this?
Yeah. It's amazing how you're willing to compromise when your life depends on it, because this person has now become your life.
Yeah.
And it's not always compromise. Interestingly, oftentimes with you in particular, when I've compromised, I've realized that I've actually made myself a better person. Like the thing I compromised on was something that I was doing wrong.
Yeah. Totally.
So it wasn't really a compromise in the end at all.
Yeah.
And
I win.
I love that.
I love
that.
What was an early hurdle in your relationship? And how did you overcome it?
I feel like the earliest hurdle was that we were forced to live together.
What?
No. Sorry.
It's like I couldn't date any other girls. It was horrible.
You're asking like the earliest hurdle is in like a conflict, right? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, or I mean, it could be when you moved in together. And
it could be. I was busting your balls, but that's a reasonable answer.
You can interpret the question however you like.
Yes.
Okay, sorry.
But I'll have to finish it to properly interpret it. So, if I could have the mic back.
Right, true.
When we were dating for like 2 months and we were like heavy, like fawning all over each other, and we still do so much of that. But we went to we had to do our first lockdown together, and it was 2 months of like never having like a break from each other to be like to come back and be like, oh my god, I appreciate you so much, and I just like I missed seeing you, because we'd go to work and we'd come back, and then like there was that break in between where we were seeing other people and we're like, that person is not as awesome as you. And
but I want to just add that wasn't when we were living together. So you don't mean when we moved in together. There was a time at the beginning of COVID when lockdown happened in BC, and we were just dating like this. We were only 3 months into our relationship. And so we spent all of our time together. And then when that happened and everyone had to work from home, and I obviously already worked from home, Eric was going to start working from home. I was like, do you want to just come up and stay in Squamish with me? And he was like, okay. So that was the hurdle, because it was 6 weeks straight of living together all of a sudden during one of the craziest times of everyone's lives.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, we thought it'd be like a fun little sleepover, like COVID together. And then it was, this is actually a very good one, Eric, because am I taking the mic?
No.
No. Oh, no, he's sitting pretty because you just said it's a good one. It's coming full circle.
This will probably have a better conclusion than what I was going to say. Go ahead.
So I felt like I started becoming weird. This was so strange. I started becoming weirdly insecure at the very beginning of that, because I don't do that much in my day-to-day when I'm not traveling. And at the time I had been traveling so much, and then COVID happened. And it was before I had adjusted. Like now I've adjusted to it. But at the time I was like, I'm the laziest person ever. I don't do anything with my day. Eric's going to think that I'm such a bum. Even though I couldn't do anything anyway, I just had this like intense insecurity. And I remember like after, I don't know how many weeks had passed at this point, but I remember just being like, this feels not good, not between us, but for me. I remember feeling like kind of icky about it. And then, like Eric was saying, it was just such an abrupt end to the dating that we used to do, and the like, going and seeing each other on the weekend and all of that. That it was
the courting stage was suddenly, you were suddenly shacked up together.
Yeah, and it wasn't.
Times were weird.
And it wasn't like a moving in together, shacked up together. It was this is actually like pretty intense, this situation that we're all in. And at the beginning, we didn't realize that. Mm-hmm. So that actually is a very huge hurdle. And how did we overcome it?
But it was all like, well, this is how we overcame it, because it was not like there was ever any doubt that I was like, that hurdle came up and I was like, oh, I don't know if I can be with this person. It was just like, okay, we got to like, we're communicating in different ways. So we got to figure out like, our communication style is better. We have to dial those in, because it's not like we get to take that break and we can push it off until we really need to figure it out. So it's just like, we got to figure it out now. Like, you're seeing it this way, I'm seeing it this way. If I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. Like, let's figure that out. But there's also things where it's like, you need to see that I'm not seeing you that way. So that's like a story that like I can't.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing it that way, but I also have to be here, and I might not be able to change absolutely everything, but I'm telling you that this isn't the way that it is. And she would do the same thing to me. And so it was just like, we really figured out a way to communicate. And we will be the first to admit we have different like love languages, but like we had to figure that out too. And we had to be like, oh, I get it.
I want to hear about that.
Yeah.
Well, because 50% of this podcast is us answering people's relationship questions, and love languages or not, love language is not aligning comes up a lot. And so I'm curious.
Well, mine is for sure words of affirmation as number one, like verbal communication, like tell me all of the things that you like about me. This podcast is great for that because I get to hear them.
And I'm praising you too, as is Sharleen.
Yeah, all of you. But that's for sure, I think, the number one for me. And that's something that Eric is, that's not his. What yours are, what are yours? Probably, can I guess?
Yeah.
Acts of service. Service and gifts. He's the most amazing gift, like thoughtful gift giver. Not like, let me buy an expensive thing, like the most thoughtful stuff you could ever imagine.
You're making us all look bad, Eric. You're making us all look bad.
Making me look bad. So I give him terrible gifts, and so that might suck for him. But
that's not true.
Okay, cool. But he is learning, I think, to communicate verbally with me, or like show affection verbally, which I really need, and I appreciate his efforts.
Oh, that's nice. So would you say then the way you've solved that, I mean, we've sort of gone onto a different hurdle, but the conflicting love languages, or not conflicting, but not aligning love languages, would you say that it's just a matter of making an effort to meet in the middle? Is it that simple, would you say?
Yeah. Yes.
And actually, I guess it comes down to whether the person makes that effort.
Sure.
Yeah. And it's weird because it doesn't come naturally, right? Like him, like me bringing the cardboard down to the garbage room is something that he would appreciate so much that I would think is not that big of a deal. So I have to do it and be like, he cares a lot about this, even though.
Yeah, that just sounds like a chore.
Yeah.
But because he does everything. So like, he's like, once in a while, I'd be like,
there's nothing that turns me on more when you take out the garbage.
Really?
Oh, it's so sweet. Yeah. I
Oh
love
my
it.
God.
I see that garbage.
Is it that easy?
Yep. That's all you got to do.
I know. It's like,
Because
you think it's so stupid, but.
No.
Okay. I want to pick Eric's brain then, because you're not a words of affirmation person, meaning that's not how you show your love. And would you say it's also not how you receive it? Like if Jasmine showers you with affection, verbal affection, you're kind of like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So my question
it's hard to like deny that, because if anybody tells you that they love you and anybody comes and gives you like a big hug, like there's no way not to feel like good about that. Because
that's true. That's honest.
And verbal stuff too. But that's what I mean. Like with I love yous and like you look whatever.
But for me, it's specifics. Like it's not the I love you. This is the funny thing. That's why he's saying that, because I am always like, but it's not I love you. I want you to tell me why.
We're the same person.
But people who aren't words of affirmation, people don't think it like that. Like they're just like, I love you, right?
Specific words of affirmation.
I mean, I feel like this even ties into Eric, whether or not you were looking for those specific traits. It was more like, oh, I'll know it when I see it. There's this sort of gut feeling about it. So what I want to know is, just because I find this interesting, because I have dated guys who were not words of affirmation people. You definitely are. But I sought that because it was something that I really cared about. So I'm curious, when it doesn't occur to you, do you have this moment where you're like, oh, I am noticing this, therefore I'm going to say it? Like, what's the thought process? How do you improve upon that?
Yeah, I think that you sort of have to be just privy to that other person's like you, like when they come into your head, you just have to say them. And I don't like have like, I don't just say everything, like when things come into my head, I'm like, oh, that's a really nice thing. I should, and it's still something that I got to work on. Like I probably rest on my laurels a bit, but I should just like say what I see more often and trying to do that more. You know?
That's it. Really interesting.
Yeah.
I try to do that too. Like sometimes I think like, oh, wow, you look so beautiful today, but I don't say it. Why not just say it?
Yeah. I find it very interesting because for me, I can't stop it from coming out of my mouth. We're the same. Jasmine and I are the same. I'm just like, you look so beautiful today. Like
I get such a heavy words of affirmation.
Yeah, Andy gets showered every day.
So big. So I want to know how you guys fight. Here come the hard-hitting questions. Yeah. I want to know. I know you fight, and I want to know how you fight.
Okay.
Yeah, honestly, we fight with like blinders on, and it's like this until we're like, okay, time out.
And then we sleep, and then we are fine in the morning. It's okay. First of all, because we've never fought about anything major. It's always really dumb stuff. I will admit that I'm the one driving all of the conflict. Like, I don't know how to let things go. I just will be like emotional forever, and I just can't stop it. And I push and I push and I push until Eric kind of he karate chops. That's when I know it's bad, because he like starts being like, I don't He'll be like, talking like that. And
do you mean literally? He literally karate chops like that?
Yes.
Or is that like an expression for something he does?
No, it's
he actually karate chops like this when he's talking, and that's how I know he's getting really frustrated, and that I've kind of learned now that at that point I should probably back off. But if we ever get to that point where he's karate chopping, I know that it's like past the point of reconciling in that moment. And so we usually have to just take a breather. We have to. We're learning. We're honestly still learning this, by the way.
I think most couples continue to learn it.
Yeah, you never really totally figure out how to fight. But you get some tools.
I love how we talk about like, we know.
Yes,
I don't mean that at all. Like, I
understand.
really think that every fight, the goal is to take away a nugget, tiny nugget from every single fight.
I think you have to also choose your battles. That's the biggest skill you learn is choosing your battles. Like, am I going to really let this become a fight? Like, is this that important?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I get the feeling, just based on the time we've had together, that when Eric is karate chopping, he's right. That's my feeling. Sorry, Jasmine. I don't like to take sides against you. But I feel like the karate chop from this guy, he's right.
Well, that's the thing, because like what you were just saying about choosing your battles, I don't do that. Like we were just saying, I'll blurt out anything I'm feeling, it comes out. So I will often make conflict out of nothing, really. And then, so the fights that we've ever had are a result of me making something out of absolutely nothing. That if we were to break it down, would be like, this is so stupid. I wish I could think of an example because it's actually ridiculous. And then I just push him till he's so frustrated. Like I can't let it go for so long that he gets frustrated and starts karate chopping. And then we usually just walk away from each other and then we calm down. And once we calm down, we always come together and are just like, sorry about it in our Italian accent. And then we hug each other.
By the way, that's the main parlance in our language is like, we just add "bout it" to the end of every sentence.
Don't know why. Don't know where it started, but it's never.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cute. Wait, so who's the first to wave that white flag? Typically.
Probably Eric. But I'm starting to get better at it.
Yeah. I think that honestly, it's probably when I get to the chopping level, it's more of like my frustrations are like, I can feel like them rising from my feet. And then I just have to expel all my energy. And I'm like, this is what I'm seeing. This is what I feel. I don't want to talk about it.
What's the matter with you crazy woman?
Yeah. What's the matter with you?
Yeah.
And I also know that I'm at that point, I've probably said some wrong things and I've like, thrown coal on the fire and like made it worse as well. Yeah. And I'm like, I can't do this anymore. Like I'm exhausted. And then I'll just go and lay down and I'll be asleep in like a minute. I imagine that's even more frustrating for Jasmine because she can never like sleep like I can.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean,
I find this funny because
it's a funny story. I told you this story before. I once went to sleep with, I'm very good friends with her now, but we had a very tumultuous relationship. But I went to sleep during an argument and she literally punched me in the face while I was asleep. Well, a full punch, not like a tap. Like I got hit. It was like Mike Tyson level punching.
Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty hardcore. I still have a lot of respect for it. That was a heavy move. I fell asleep during an argument. You don't do that.
What I find funny is that the saying goes like, the big rule. When we got married, so many people put in their cards like, our one marriage tip is never go to sleep angry or never go to bed angry. And I got to say, I kind of feel you guys on this. I actually think going to bed solves the problem a lot of the time. I'm not saying it always does, but sometimes really what you just need is a breather.
Yeah, you wake up in the morning, you're like, what that was dumb.
Yeah.
But, if it's really bad, you don't want to go to sleep. Yeah. But if it's like normal garden variety, stupid relationship argument, going to sleep isn't that bad angry. Yeah. But you're not really angry. You're like, it's stupid angry. It doesn't make sense.
It's stupid anger. Like, you need that like time to reset to be like, what were we talking about? What was it like? Where did things take like a wrong turn? And like, then you can come back together and be like, okay, I shouldn't have said this. That was dumb of me. I was missing the point, and I wasn't saying like, I wasn't seeing what you needed me to see.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Also, like that's a two-way road. Like, so
same thing. Yeah, it just has to be acknowledged once you come back.
Yes. Yeah, and by both parties.
Yes.
Like it doesn't work if you both go to bed and then one person in the morning takes all the responsibility. Yeah. So we often get asked about the one. So like the aha moment, how you knew. Do you believe in the one? And was there that moment for you? And if so, do you think you could attempt to describe it?
I've never been one to believe that there's only one person who will work for you in the entire world and that like they're like not in that way. But when I think of the one, I think that I'm going to find my one. That sounds so cheesy, but
no, it's cute.
but I always expected that I would find the person that I would call the one, but not necessarily in like a very like, this person is the only human that could ever exist on this planet who I would be compatible with. Mm-hmm. But I did think that Eric was the one even before I met him. Like I was like pretty confident. Nervous that he wouldn't be, but I was pretty confident that he would be. And I feel that he is my one.
I mean, again, 2 weeks in, turned down Bachelor Summer Games. Let's not forget
Well,
that.
yeah, you said that before we started rolling, but yes, I think that's a great story, actually.
Yeah.
Which we will tell. Or Jasmine, why don't you tell it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I had been approached to represent Canada on Bachelor Summer Games, which was a show that was going to happen. It hadn't been announced yet. Had talks with the producers in the States, and that was all set to happen. I was flying down there to LA to do my intro kind of stuff and isolate for 4 days in a hotel. And I went on this, I wasn't going to not go on a date with this guy because I didn't know what was going to happen. It wasn't like they were like, you're signed up and you're going. So, and I hadn't met them yet. So I didn't want to put all my eggs in one basket yet. And so I went on this date, and especially after I started talking to him and he was so awesome. I was like, well, I'm not going to not. So I think I was set to leave maybe 2 weeks later. Yeah. And my flights were booked and everything. And I messaged the producer and I was like, I don't think I can come because I started dating this guy, and I know it's really early. It's only been 2 weeks, but I feel like I can't imagine. These were my exact words. I was like, I can't imagine us breaking up. So
yeah,
I can't imagine this not working out.
Yeah.
And she had said, let me know if in the meantime you meet someone or things change. So I felt comfortable coming to her with that, and she was really nice about it. But I felt like a bit of an asshole but I would have felt like more of an asshole if I'd gone there, wasted everyone's time, gone through the whole thing, had to pretend like I was interested in meeting someone because I was so into Eric that
Can I just say that's what most people do, though?
Oh, yeah. I mean,
this is why I love you, but you were not willing to act single if you weren't actually
she's
single.
She's the anti-Piper.
I know what you're talking about, except I haven't watched this yet, so I've only seen
Eric's what?
I think that's really cute, though. I think that's the ultimate mini story around knowing.
Yeah. Eric, did you know, how much of this did you know?
Yeah, and did you?
On?
What I want to know is how that made you feel.
Yeah.
It's funny because obviously I didn't know anything about it obviously before she brought it up, and then when she did, she was like, "But I don't think I'm gonna go," and I was like, "I respect the space you're in," and I was just like, "That's pretty much what I was like. I respect the space you're in." I wasn't like, "Don't go. I don't want to talk to you if you go." And then she's like, "I feel like you don't want me to go." And I was basically just like, "That's correct. That is correct."
That's the right answer. It's not like you don't go, you're not allowed to go, but it's also not like, well, you do what you want.
I mean, the answer for anybody who cares about somebody is don't go on.
Don't go date other
it's
people.
A friend, an acquaintance.
Yeah,
I'm just kidding. It's a respectable show.
Yeah.
But that's the right answer.
Yes.
Don't go.
Okay, Andy, it is now time for the Dear Shandy Newlyweds Game. Yay!
Nice.
Okay, Eric, you're up. You're our honorary guest.
Yes.
Because we're meeting you for the first time. So, Eric,
2021.
question number 1. What is your favorite chocolate bar?
My favorite chocolate bar is Wonder Bar.
Oh, you enjoyed the Wonder. You had it recently for
It's
the
a
first
Canadian
time.
bar.
It is a Canadian bar.
I like all Canadian candy. It's superior candy.
It is superior. Jasmine, did you get that?
I thought it was going to be O. Henry because we literally talked about this the other day. And I said that this is the chocolate bar I used to buy as a kid because it was the biggest one, but not the best.
I love that that's the reason.
First of all, O. Henry is the king of chocolate bars.
Is that what they say?
That's what I say.
You said that very matter-of-factly. Mm-hmm. Okay, so sorry, Jasmine, you did not get that point. But let's see if Eric gets his. Jasmine, what is your favorite chocolate bar?
Another Canadian thing, I think. Big Turk.
What?
What?
You don't even know what that is?
I know what it is. I just can't believe that's her favorite.
It's no one's favorite chocolate bar. It is.
What's in a Big Turk?
Let me tell you. Oh God, I was just gonna ask, have you ever had bridge mixture? I basically sound like I'm 89 years old. It's like jelly filled. It's like a raspberry.
It's filled with Turkish delight, isn't it?
Yes, but not a traditional Turkish delight at all. chocolate covered firm jelly.
Think of it as like it's like a chocolate covered jujube.
Yes.
Wow, that's like something they would give someone in a torture chamber to get information out of them. That sounds like the worst candy bar I've ever heard in my
Funny that you
life.
say that, Matt, because I used to always make fun of anybody who liked Big Turks, and then I used to buy them for Jazz all the time
When we first started dating.
Still do.
Mhm.
And
Well,
I started eating them, and I like them too. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, God.
yeah, he used to buy them.
You got it.
He used to buy them for me as like a gift.
I love his big reveal.
Yeah, that was a nice. I saw that coming. I was like, oh, he got it.
There's a lot of bravado there.
Yeah, I'm amazed that tastes good. That's the thing that amazes me.
I can't get over her choice there.
Hard raspberry jelly covered with chocolate.
Pretty much.
Jasmine, I've never felt so separate from you before.
But I also love and eat more. So
I do like eating too.
I like eat more too. Do you even know what we're talking about?
I don't know anything that anyone's
This
talked about
episode
except for
is
O.
for
Henry.
Canada right now. Okay.
Oof.
Eric, back to you. Question number 2. What was your first ever job, meaning the first thing you ever did and got paid to do?
sick.
McDonald's.
You worked at McDonald's.
Nice.
Oh,
Amazing.
I forgot. I said
Oh.
grocery store, stocking shelves, and stealing granola bars, which is
A
second.
lot of detail, all
That
wrong.
was my second job. Yeah.
It's pretty
Oh,
close.
I feel sad because there was so much specificity
Yeah.
there. And I do feel like you really know him, but you
Yeah.
didn't get the
You
point.
should get partial credit, but we're not going to give it to you.
Yeah. fair enough.
Not- Okay, Jasmine, how about you? What was your first ever job?
Dishwasher, but Eric will probably say Quiznos because I talk about that a lot more because I really believe that Quiznos is superior to Subway at the end.
It is.
I did
That's
not
just fact.
say that. I said the babysitter where you spent evenings sometimes
Oh.
and eventually became a painter for the dad.
Oh yeah, I did become a painter, but that was after. I was a house painter.
I don't know what to do, but there's so much detail here that there should be points given, but I'm not.
know,
I can't
their
do
answers
it.
have multiple lines. There's so much
Yeah,
detail.
but there's integrity to this game.
can I
This is not a joke.
No,
I
I
can't give you points.
and can
Sorry.
I just say, you guys, that I didn't think babysitter would count, so I didn't put that because I would have put that. But
Oh.
that's okay.
Well,
it was my.
I mean,
babysitter.
it helped even the score because he would have pulled ahead too much. So
Yeah, put it this,
you did the right
put it this way.
thing.
You both got it wrong, so neither person moves ahead.
Yeah, we're 1-0 for Eric right now. Okay, Eric, question number 3. What is one thing Jasmine has that you would love to get rid of?
A giant ass suitcase.
Oh,
I know of those.
I love that he went through the work of writing ass.
Yeah.
Jasmine, did you get that?
no, but kind of close. I said all of my clothes because I have a lot of clothes, but I don't think I do. But he thinks I do.
You do not. You don't have as many clothes as a lot of girls, I think.
No, I think I agree with you, Charlie.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
clothes,
I think you.
like having a lot of clothes doesn't bug me.
I just thought I just couldn't think of anything else. But
Oh, okay.
my suitcase is very obnoxious, and I get comments from strangers about it all the time, being like, "You got a body in there."
I'm sorry, Jasmine. I wanted to give you that point, but we cannot. I'm
Yes.
sorry.
I'm sorry.
Right.
Jasmine, what is one thing Eric has that you would love to get rid of?
That foggy glass. He has a glass he drinks out of that. It's so foggy and like dishwasher wrecked, and he just loves drinking scotch out of it. And
Oh, so it's foggy because it's old.
yes,
Yeah,
It's not,
dirty
it's not
glass.
supposed to be foggy.
no, it's not supposed to be foggy. It's not
I
supposed
just
to be
wanted
foggy.
to clarify. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Isn't there like can't use Cascade on that or something?
No, it's like the
It's
glass
over.
itself is like transformed.
Yeah, some
Oh, wait.
abrasive material maybe got to it.
Yeah.
Eric, did you get that?
No, I did not get it. I got my basketball shorts. She always makes
Oh,
fun of me
that's true.
when I come out wearing my basketball shorts.
Yeah, he's a big basketball fan, and he loves to wear basketball shorts, and they're insane.
Are they like the super long ones?
They're not super long, but they're really colorful, and like they've got like San Francisco written across like the crotch. And, yeah, they're pretty insane.
They're very comfortable though. And it was like an impulse purchase. I had just been fed the ad too many times on Instagram.
An
and I was
impulse
like,
purchase
yeah.
that you made like 5 of. Yeah.
Over several years.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. Okay, we're still 1-0 Eric.
I have to say though, as far as 1-0s go, they are winning. They are both losing and winning. Well, this is the best performance for a losing effort that I've ever seen.
Well, I'll tell you this. What I find interesting is the couples that get lower scores, their answers are more intricate. It's almost like it's their undoing.
They were trying too hard. They weren't trying to be in the body of someone who's in a more basic relationship.
All right, question number 4. Eric, who is your celebrity crush?
John Mayer is my celebrity crush.
Nice.
John Mayer, I respect that.
Me too.
Good answer.
He's obsessed with John Mayer and his music, and I think that he would leave me for him for sure. So I also said
reasonable.
Oh, she got it. Yes, 1-1.
Very nice.
Very good. Okay, Jasmine, who is your celebrity crush?
Okay, this is more a lob to Eric. I don't know if he's going to get it. Gene Wilder as Willy Wonka.
Nice!
Gene Wilder as Willy Wonka. This was a joke, but it's probably what he'll say.
What? That's it shouldn't be a joke. That is an amazing crush. I applaud you on that one.
Oh, Andy just fell in love with you a bit
literally,
more.
sometimes I just break into song of Gene Wilder and Willy Wonka.
Yeah, he loves that song.
Yeah.
I know.
The song that feels like it has one too many beats in a bar.
Yeah, it's... What's the first lyric? Why said... Come with me, and you'll be in a world of pure imagination. What we'll see will defy expectation.
Good. Very good. Very
Lost
good.
my voice.
I love that.
Anyway.
And Jasmine, your answer was a hit over here.
Yeah, that's
He's going
big.
to talk about this for a long time.
Yes. I really like that.
I want to throw out another one that he might say, even though it won't count as a point.
Okay. Let's
David
see.
Bowie in the Labyrinth, because that really was
Another strong
Excellent.
one. Wow, where are you
Jesus.
coming up with these like hard 70s and 80s? What's going on
She was
with
developing her crushes in her
Yeah,
youth.
like were you like 3 years old?
I was
Like,
super young.
0, -5 years old
Yeah, I was
during
really
that
young,
time?
but I had a crush on him.
I remember having
for
a crush
you.
on him too in that movie.
Gene Wilder or David Bowie?
Well, to be honest, my childhood crush that I developed in my childhood was The Great Mouse Detective.
Oh my god! Mine was Goofy's son Max, but that.
Yeah, that's true. He was a babe.
So, Eric, I'm very curious. Let's see what he said.
I said Devin Sawa, and Jasmine talks about him all the freaking time.
No, I've only
And she's like, he DM'd me. Oh my god, he's my
no. That's not true. He didn't DM me. He has a really outspoken political Twitter account, and I follow him on there. And obviously, he was a childhood crush of mine for sure. Devin Sawa from Casper,
Oh, I remember Devin Sawa.
and he's Canadian, but he followed me back on Twitter, and it was like the highlight of my life because I was like, oh my god, if I could go back in time and tell my younger childhood self that Devin Sawa was gonna follow me on Twitter, I would die. He didn't DM me. No.
Very respectable answers.
Yeah.
I feel bad not giving points for all of these answers. I
Yeah,
gotta
you
say.
guys are really winning and
Yeah,
losing
you're
at the
killing
same time.
it. Killing it.
Yeah.
But you're still 1-1. Still 1-1.
Okay.
Question number
tight one.
5. What?
It's tight. This is it.
This is a tight match. Question number 5. Eric, if you won the lottery tomorrow, what is the first thing you would buy?
I would buy my parents like a house, and then buy their lakefront property that they have that we grew up in.
Wow.
Oh, that's the nicest
That's such a nice answer.
That is really.
I love that.
And then I would
Oh.
really take care of myself. So don't like.
Buy like 10 Ferraris.
The first thing you would buy. That's so nice. Jasmine, did you get that?
I was thinking that he would have chosen what he would buy for himself. So I said a business of some sort.
He would buy a business?
He would buy a business or start a business of some.
Now, Jasmine, do you really think that the answer he was going to write down was a business of some sort? Did you really think that? Did you feel good about that answer?
No.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Next time.
Okay, Jasmine. Jasmine, if you were to win the lottery tomorrow, what's the first thing you would buy?
Well, aside from taking care of my family.
Loser.
Now I feel like an asshole for not having that as my answer. I would say for myself, an open-ended flight around the world. Like, just go traveling forever.
That is such an on-brand answer. I love it.
Yeah. Her Instagram's going to really go absolutely ballistic.
Yeah, she needs to win the lottery so that we can look at the photos. Yeah. Okay, Eric, did you get that?
No.
This is for the win.
No. Take care of anything your mom needs or wants.
Well, Jasmine, it looks like you're a bad person.
That is what I would do.
I know. I told you, like you already do. Like you already are so generous.
All right. Do we have a tiebreaker here?
You know, normally I want to do a tiebreaker. I do. Do you guys have the energy?
I'm going to give you guys a shot at this.
Okay. Get another piece of paper. We're not letting you go just yet. It's your last meal on Earth. What do you order?
I order tacos, French fries, and sour candy.
Oh my God.
That's an interesting meal.
Wow, that's your last meal on Earth?
No.
Sour candy?
Oh, I love sour candy.
No. More specifically, sour Mike and Ike's, which I got as the sweet.
Okay, she put popcorn, Pizza Hut?
Yes.
And wait, come closer. Sour Mike and Ike's. She got one.
I got one, but I should have known potatoes. A potato form of food I should have known. Darn it.
Are we giving her that? We normally do give it if they get one. I'm giving it to her.
Okay.
Jasmine, you get a point. Good job.
We're going to be tied again.
I would like to just make sure that everyone knows this is a sympathy point.
It's not a sympathy point. That's a very specific candy.
It's true, but it's a sympathy point.
It's not a sympathy point.
Okay.
They were circling each other. It was general junk food.
All right.
Okay. All right, Jasmine, it's your last meal on Earth. What do you order?
Okay. A little bit of this was what I thought Eric would say, but the last two are true. The first one I said cheese just because I ate cheese all the time. Pizza Hut, pepperoni pizza, and Dairy Queen Blizzard.
I feel like this is a sponsored.
Wait a minute. You're having cheese and pizza? I'm confused.
I thought he would say cheese. So I shouldn't have been trying to give him a point, right? I'm supposed to.
Yeah, why are you doing that to yourself?
know.
God.
Okay.
You're really cracking under pressure.
I'm seeing a different side of you.
Yeah.
I said pizza, sushi, and ice cream.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, he did better.
Yeah, I think. Oh, speaking of pizza.
Hold up your card again, Jasmine. Let's see. Oh, wait, the one I want to see Eric's.
Eric wins. Take away that point you gave her.
So he got pizza, sushi, ice cream. He got 2 out of 3. She got 1 out of 3.
It's
Jasmine,
by a nose. By a nose.
I tried, Jasmine, but
Eric wins.
Yeah, Eric wins. I'm taking away your. You know what it is? He's getting 1.5.
That's what I would say.
There you go.
So he got 2.5, and Jasmine, you got 2.
Wow.
So Eric, you are the winner of the Dear Shandy Newlyweds Game.
Hey.
Good job.
She admits defeat, but you went down fighting.
I did.
Till the very end with the sour Mike and Ike's.
Yeah.
You guys, thank you so much for joining us. We had the best time with you.
This is great.
Thank you.
I really feel like it was a true double date.
It was so fun.
A double date. And long overdue. Lovely meeting you, Eric, and thank you for being such a good sport.
Thank you guys. Thanks for having us on. It's fun.
So fun.
Okay. And we'll do it in person soon,
Yes.
I am sure.
Yes,
please.
please.
Okay. Have a great night. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks, guys.
Bye,
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Well, they're the loveliest.
That is a nice couple.
I adore her.
She's the sweetest.
She's the sweetest. I'm obsessed with Jasmine.
I want to know who doesn't like Jasmine. I want to meet that person.
Apparently their neighbor.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I liked him.
Great guy.
I mean, I've heard all about him. It's just funny that I've never actually met. I mean, obviously COVID. Isn't it crazy they met right before everything went crazy? November 2019.
Yesterday.
That's, when you think about that in terms of a relationship timeline, like a lot of like that whole early hurdle.
Oh yeah.
I actually wanted to ask them what they think, like how different things would have looked had they not.
Well, I think COVID was like it's like a baptism by fire, but it weeded out all the bad relationships.
It's true. It was a baptism by fire for so many, and also for relationships that weren't necessarily new.
Yeah. You either you were forced to bring your relationship to a head, whether that be good or bad. I feel sorry for people who were stuck with someone who they weren't getting along with, but in general, a lot of people were like, hey, we're doing quarantine together. And let me tell you something, that quarantine together either ended real bad or real good.
Yeah.
And then probably not much in the middle.
Yeah. You know what I loved? There was a moment early on when we were talking in the context of the Queen Bee, where he was like, well, I know this is the last relationship I want to be in.
Oh, yeah.
So I have to make it work. Like, he said it so nonchalantly.
Yeah.
But it was a big thing to say.
I caught that too. It was very big.
Yeah.
It's like, that's not the thing you lead with. That's like, maybe you get to that conclusion after a long journey, but he was just like, yeah, I know we're going to be together forever, so I got to make it work.
Yeah, my mindset with that is, I know this is the last relationship I want to be. Like, it was so matter of fact. Yeah. The way he said it made me understand a bit the love language thing. Like, he said it so matter of factly, but there was nothing performative. Like, this is the last thing. It was just so like, this is a fact. And
by the way, that's not something any guy says unless he truly believes it.
There's real truth in what you just said. Mm-hmm. It makes me think of that episode with Tracy McMillan, where it's like, how do you know a man is ready for commitment, for marriage?
He tells you.
Because he tells you. They were lovely.
Yep.
I mean, we knew this one would be lovely. I was looking forward to this one. Yeah. I knew this day would come, and it did not disappoint.
I got nothing but nice things to say about them. And the one criticism is, if I ever have to play a game of any kind, I'm not picking Jasmine on my team. That's it. Other than that, she's fantastic.
They play games a lot, but yeah, I feel like she kind of
any pressure game, no.
Oh, that makes me like her even more.
Yeah, absolutely. She's too good.
She's too good.
Too good.
Not competitive.
No.
She was giving him points. She's like, I put this down because I think this is what he'll say. It's like, that's not how this works.
You're going to win. I'm telling you, I got this.
Okay. Do you want to wrap there?
Yeah, I think we're good.
What a lovely love fest. Mm-hmm. If you guys enjoyed what you heard today, you can keep Dear Shandy in business by liking, subscribing, hitting the notification bell, following us on Instagram, telling your friends, and generally doing all the things you would do to keep a podcast that you consume alive and kicking. And on that note, I think that's a wrap for this Love Fest. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on Dear Shandy. Bye. Dear Shandy.